Have you ever told yourself, I'm going to stop eating sugar? I'm going to stop eating pastries. I'm going to do all of these things because New Year's resolutions is a thing that we typically kind of tell ourselves. And by the time March or February or even the second week of January, we decide, you know what? I don't think I'm going to hold on to that. Well, today we want to talk about how we can do some things every single day to make sure that we are focused on our mental wellness, our physical wellness, and our spiritual wellness or our soul. And today I have some amazing panelists here to talk about this specifically. And I'm going to bring them on just so that they themselves can tell you about who they are, what they do, the amazing things they do. Because if I tried to do it, I wouldn't do them any justice. So I'm going to bring on first my sister that I've known for over 20 years, Sophia. How are you doing today, Sophia?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good, good. Tell the people who you are and what are some of the amazing things you want them to know about you.
Okay, so my name is Sophia Campbell Burrell, and I am a licensed clinical social worker. I specialize in helping people recognize toxic dynamics, building boundaries, and as well as reconnecting to themselves. Um, sorry about that. Also, too, with me being like a licensed clinical social worker, I didn't just study this; I pretty much like live it. I had to unlearn basically overworking, basically people pleasing, and just staying and not staying in environments that drain me pretty much. So, mental wellness for me has become less about coping and more about alignment with myself. So, yeah, it's a little bit about myself.
Now, listen, she's being very modest here, right? You know, she's a bodybuilder. She's a pet mom. She's an amazing wife. And you
Yeah.
know, she has her own nutrient supplements out there. Come on, listen. Listen, I
Oh,
told
yeah.
y'all to brag. I told you, y'all be telling me to brag, but y'all not bragging on yourselves now.
It's early, so I'm in Arizona time, so I'm still waking up. So yes, I got my own supplement line too as well. Body by Soka B. I'm firm believer in as well as like eating well, eating clean. Of course, can't be perfect, but you got to start somewhere. Also too, I'm opening up my own practice as well. So when it comes to therapy, so if you want to come to me, if you're in the Arizona area, I'm opening it up very soon as well. Yes, I am a pet mom. I'm a pet mom of three. Got a cute little dog named Cairo, and my cats that I just got this early this year. One name is Sir Mayor. The other one name is Mango. They both two orange cats. So the chaos is real up in this house.
Awesome, awesome. And do you still got the crickets going on at the middle of the night?
I do. Everyone loved the crickets. Everyone.
All right. So my first visit to Sophia's house, I thought there was crickets stuck in the walls because she has her smart speaker playing crickets so that the animals can sleep well at night. I think it was for her, but she said it was for the animals. Now,
Everyone.
okay, okay. Now, listen, this next person, I met her for the first time last week, and I automatically said I need her to be my mom, but I need her to be my mentor. Actually, the mom thing came in afterwards. And I was like, yo, in the chat that we were in, I was like, can she be my mentor? And everybody automatically gave me her phone number. And I really wanted her to talk to me directly. You know what I mean? So Mama Mel, how are you doing? Can you tell the amazing people who you are? And I sent Maddie a message the other day, and I was like, "Hey, Maddie, your mom is my mom now." And I normally I thought she would have been like, "Nah, that's my mom," but she was like, "I know she's dope. I'm okay with sharing her with you." So tell us who you are and tell us about the amazing things that you do.
So my name is Melanie Funches. I tell people my street name is Mama Mel, and I create programs to foster wellness for people of the African diaspora. I founded an initiative called Healers Village. The goal of Healers Village is to create an ecosystem of wellness for people of the African diaspora living in Monroe County, which is Rochester, New York, where I'm located. And I I've been working, I'm a third generation healer, is how I describe myself. I've been working in mental health for over 25 years. And I tell people I don't just work for Hair Club, I'm also a client. I have lived with my own mental health challenges, and I'm a what in mental health work, I'm what you would call a peer, but I'm a third generation peer. So the way I define that is I am the child of and the parent of people who lived with mental health challenges as well as lived with the challenges myself. So what I do is what I realize is that these systems are not built for us. So I build things that are designed for the way that people, the African diaspora, organically experience the world. Because I believe that we should be able to have supports and things that are in alignment with who we are as a people, and that we don't need to go to the default of what is, because when we default to something that's not made for us, it makes it seem like there's something wrong with us, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with us. We are having a normal reaction to a generations long, centuries long abnormal situation. And so that's what I do. I'm currently in school. I am on a quest, PhD or bust. And so whenever people talk to me, what are you doing? I'm doing homework. So, and yeah, that's me.
Now, Mama Mel, we met on a Bag Live
Yes.
event or live stream. Can you tell us about Bag and what the importance of that is in the community?
Oh, sure. BAG stands for Black Agenda Group. And about 15 years ago, 16 years ago, a group of us, wait, no, what's this, 2026? 11 years ago, I'm sorry, bad, bad math. 11 years ago, a group of us came together and we, just regular Black folks in the community, and we found, and the way it started was there was a meeting about the status of Black and Brown children, and there were no Black people invited to the meeting. Except, no, there was 100 people invited to the meeting. There were only 4 Black people who were invited to the meeting. The rest of us crashed the meeting, shut the meeting down, and said, "You're not going to talk about us without us." Right. But what we came away from that with was that the reason that people felt that they could do that was that we as a community had not said clearly where our priorities were, what we wanted. So in the vacuum that creates, people could say anything. So a group of, when we started, there was probably like a dozen of us came together, and over the course of a year of conversations, a year of, norming and storming and bringing in ideas and talking to people and going to the elders and all these things, we came up with something that we called the Black Agenda. And it was literally an agenda for Rochester that had 3 pillars: education, health and wellness, and economic development. And underneath each of these pillars was a set of things that we wanted and how we were going to achieve, how we could work as a collective to achieve them. And we've been working on that agenda ever since. And so that's a big, all of the work that I've done around building Healers Village, building safe spaces for our Black and Brown healers, and all these other things I do are all roads lead back to the agenda, us fulfilling the things that we said in the agenda.
That's amazing. That's amazing because I was introduced to it through another person, and I was like, wow, you guys are doing such amazing things in the community. And I was like, how can we do it or partner with it or replicate it? And I'm just excited to see where things go now that I'm like in the inner circle, so to speak. I can kind of see some of the
Yeah,
things
yeah,
moving.
you all the way in. You all the way in with us now. You can't, there's no escape.
I appreciate it. It's like that with most of my friends, and I appreciate that. Now, you both alluded to it a little bit earlier. The path to the things that we do isn't always a straight line, and we always end up where we need to be, but we don't necessarily start there. How did you both start your journey into the mental health profession? And you can start,
Sophia, you go
Sophia.
first.
Yeah.
Go first. Okay. So for me, I've been a lifelong career social worker from since getting my bachelor's degree, going into child welfare. And I know I always wanted to help people, but I wasn't sure how. Yeah, I thought, okay, nursing, I couldn't do the biology thing. Couldn't try something else, couldn't work. But like for some reason, this actually like worked for me for being like a social worker. And with this being a social worker, I can help people in many ways. So like I did 10 years of child welfare. But I realized within that child welfare career, I had to advance and get my master's to go even further to help people even on a bigger platform. So then I got my master's back in 2000, 2014. And then from there, I'm like, oh, I thought I was done. I'm like, no, like in order for me to help people even more, I got to go get my license. And then on top of that, you get your license again because now I'm a clinical social worker. So it's like you think you're done, but you're never done with helping people. So it's like you have to like expand your education in order to do that. So my journey started from the beginning, from having my bachelor's and realizing being and dealing with the system, understanding that the system is broken too, that I have to do more in order to help people. So it's all started there. And the beauty of social work is like I don't have to just sit in one career. Like if I want to sit and help someone on the medical side, I've done that for 3 years, after doing child welfare and realized, this ain't for me. I help people, but sometimes the system is broken. It makes you want to move on. You don't sit in places you don't want to sit. So therefore, I end up therapy fell right in my lap, and then I thought I was done with social work, and I'm like, oh, I'm done. Like, granted, yes, the clients appreciate me, but like the administration don't. But with this path of me being like a clinical social worker, guess who can I can be my own boss. And I can help people how I want to help people. And I can expand it and do other things and do consulting and show people how to end up being their own boss and help people how you want to help them. And that was honestly one of my prayers when I was going through that journey. I'm like, I want to help people, but I thought I was done. And God was like, nope. Here's this job. You didn't even apply for it. Like, I'm gonna give you two options, and here it is, or whatever. And I'm like, oh, God, you funny, because I was really saying I was done with social work, but sometimes you got a mission, and God finds a way. And I feel like I'm not done.
Fire, fire, fire. Mama Mel
I'm
is
sorry, I give big auntie energy. I know I give big auntie energy. I can't help myself.
and you know what, Mama Mel, it's necessary, right? Because our generations aren't always getting the energy you're giving us. You said something very pivotal to me last night. Some of our elders forget they used to mess up,
Hmm.
right? They sometimes forget they used to be where we were. So the chastising doesn't necessarily make sense because we were chastised because we were doing the same things we are doing, right? And so I think the auntie piece or the surrogate mom piece is always probably refreshing to the people you meet, especially your daughter's friends, because she's a reflection of you. And that probably explains why you're so great at what you do, because you do provide people the grace and understanding that you're not doing anything brand new. You're just not getting the support that you need, because we've all go through it one way or another. But you've also alluded to the fact that you are a sandwich career individual, in the sense of you've somewhat inherited the experience of dealing with mental health or seeing people working in the mental health space, you yourself dealing with it, and then, as you mentioned, being a parental guidance of someone dealing with it. Um, it sounds like it was something that was propelled on. I don't want to use the word force because it tends to have a negative
No,
connotation in the
no,
English
I
language.
was
But
called.
yes,
I
yes.
was called. Okay. And like, all right. And so my coming into social work, coming into mental health was not I've been here since I was 8. Okay. My birth mother, because I have a birth mom and I have an adopted mom. My birth mother lived with schizophrenia. So I watched at 8 years old when they put my mother on an involuntary committal and watched her be dragged down the hall of Jacobi Hospital in New York City. Right. I watched, because of mental illness and mental health challenges and people not understanding and such things not being discussed in better circles. I lived homeless from 12 to 15 around 42nd Street, Port Authority bus terminal, right? And between that and shelters, until by what I call God's divine intervention or serendipitous set of circumstances, whatever you want to call it, I ended up in Rochester, walked into a church on a corner of Frost and Genesee Street, and a woman walked up to me and told me that God told her she was to be my mother and I was to be her child.
Mm.
Right? As a very like shortened version of a very long story, but what it is from my earliest memories, mental health, and when it what happens when people don't get what they need. You know what how that ends up, the carnage that can happen when people are not seen as they're in their full humanity and being able to be given what they need in a way in which they can receive it. So that's from my earliest memories. I got that. So as I grew up and, God shined on my life. I'm sorry. I live miracle to miracle. I'm a walking miracle. I didn't think I was going to live to see 21. I am going to be 57 on my birthday in a few weeks. I'm like, and I look good, but anyway.
Mhm.
But the thing is that what I understand inherently is that I am fully human. You keep all this praise on me, and I'm sitting up here knowing I messed up with my daughter this morning. This morning, I did something jacked, right? And I have to own it, right? And I felt bad about it, and I didn't want to own it but my feelings were true. What I said was what I did and said was honestly where I was at, but it didn't. But that does not negate the fact that I hurt her. Right? I grew up in the era of Freaknik, y'all. Don't nobody in my generation who grew up when Freaknik was a thing have any business telling younger people trying to be all like holier than now. The only difference between us and y'all is that there was no social media. There was no recording devices. Okay? That's the difference. And so what I believe is that if I know the ratchetness that was my life when I was in my teens and 20s, how dare I try to now, because you get to see where I am at this point in my journey. You didn't see my process, you're just seeing the product. So I know what my process was. I know where I was. So it's up to me to own that and be able to walk up and say, baby boy, listen. Yeah, I know you doing this. I know it's ratchet. I know it's off the hook and ghetto. But listen, you're not going to be here 5 years from now. Not me. You should do. No, hell no, because I wasn't doing it then. We're all out here just trying to figure this thing out.
Mhm.
And what the best that we can do is those of us who've been there try to help counsel those who are going there to get there in ways that affirm them. That's it.
Mm. That's loaded. That's loaded. And with that being said, I want to ask you guys, because of the work that you do, how do you guys manage your mental health? Because from a non-practitioner, I have I've had to start to asking people like, "Yo, look, do you want me to listen or do you want me to help?" Because I am such a good listener, I get dumped on frequently. And I don't have to give, you know, uh licensed advice, right? How do you guys manage it? Cuz it's client after client, 1 hour you're on a call, take your notes, jump on another call, take your notes, then have to deal with life and then jump on calls again. So on a given day you could be seeing 4 or 5 different patients, 4 or 5 different issues, and in some cases they're severe. So I know that therapists or counselors or coaches have their own therapists, counselors, and coaches, but outside of that, how do you guys balance it all and continue to make it look somewhat effortlessly?
So I'll go first.
Go ahead.
So one of the things that I like to do is you have to do daily check-ins. If it don't take long, 5 minutes. You want to kind of prevent like the whole burnout thing. You want to reassess. You want to know like name that feeling type of thing. Like, why am I feeling this way? Where do I feel it in my body? What do I need? And some of the things that I might need, hey, if I got like 20 minutes or something, I'm going to take me a 20-minute walk and walk away. If I'm going to enjoy that small little treat that I've been wanting for a little bit just to make myself happy during those moments, I do that. One of the big things I like to do as well before I start my day, I get up early and I go to the gym. Some people think it's crazy, like, oh, how can you get up at like 4 or 5 a.m. just to go? It makes me happy, and I feel like if I don't move my body and work out, I feel weird just sitting here all day for 8 hours, listen to people complain. So it's like I have to pour into myself before I start the day, however that may be. Even if I can't make it to the gym that day and I'm having I can't say a bad morning. If things don't go as they normally go, I'm going to take this time and take a 30-minute walk or something just to get my body going, moving, decompress, and get ready for the day. And I tell my clients this as well. If I'm not good, how can I be good for you guys? And you should take that on as well. If you're not good, how can you take care of your family and everyone else if it starts with you? So you have to pour back into yourself and like refresh yourself and make sure that your cup is full and everyone is getting like the leftovers in a sense. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. It
And
starts with
I want to add to that, right? And because we're friends, how do you deal with grief and your job, right? And just knowing where you and I'm sorry, but
yeah.
um that in itself is a big deal, right?
Hmm.
To be able to show up for the people that you need to show up for because one, they're paying you to, but how do you show up for yourself, give yourself enough time to grieve? And, not just grief, like the typical vacation. You and I know, look, me and Soso love a travel, right?
I do.
How do you not feel guilty, one, taking time to travel, but also making sure you are going through what you believe is your grieving process, because that in itself, like if you go back too early, you might snap on a patient by accident and not realize you're doing it. So if you don't mind, and then once again, I did put you on the spot, but if you don't mind, and Mel, Mama Mel, if you can tap into the same question, how do you manage? And once again, you are of a generation where either peers or some of your elders are now going into the ancestral pain. How do you manage that and still be present?
So when
Go
so
ahead.
wait,
So, Sophia, before you speak, I just want to affirm you because you've given me my whole life. I can just go sit down somewhere right now because I just got to affirm you because you you said that stuff. I promised Paige I wasn't going to cuss a lot, right? So you look. I want to step back. Yes, 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 and that's all. So go ahead.
thank you. I'm pretty straight to the point type of person or whatever. But so what Purge is like, I call him Purge. So I know everybody's calling Page and things, but I call him Purge. That's how I met Purge. So what he's referring to, I lost my dog back in this past July, and I took it really hard. Like basically pretty much had to provide hospice for him and everything. Now I'm going to breathe because that was my baby. It was at one point where I had to tell my clients too that I wasn't okay. And I could, and because I have a good relationship with my clients, they understand and they gave me grace. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I couldn't be there for them, during that time, even leading up to,
It's okay. Breathe. And you don't have to share this if you don't want to.
oh, I wish I'm a share. So, even though he's an animal,
That's
um,
your baby.
yeah, and
I'm sorry. And I know my face is doing the things, but even though your baby had four legs, your baby was a sentient being. Your baby had a soul. Your baby understood when mommy came home, knew what to do when mommy came home, knew what to do when mommy woke up, knew how to help mommy when mommy wasn't hurt, when mommy was hurting. I got one too, right? So I didn't understand it till I had one, right? But don't you apologize for that ever, ever. to nobody. That's your baby. It
That was
whether
my
your
baby.
baby had 4 legs or 2. Okay, don't you apologize for that. Never no more. I'm sorry. That just went. I gave big auntie energy, but it's like. But what I want you to hear is that your experience is just like if that baby had 2 legs and you had birthed it out of your womb, because you birthed that baby out of your heart,
Yep.
out of your soul, out of your spirit. You birthed all that love and poured all that love for all the time that your baby was here. You poured it in. That, yeah, girl, like, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm shutting up now.
No need
I
to
needed you.
apologize.
You needed to say, but yeah, but having a good relationship with my clients, and I always tell my clients, just be real with me, and they expect the same from me. So when I couldn't show up for them, they understood and they gave me that grace. You know what I'm saying? So and I also tell my clients too, people who tell people, oh, you should just get over it. I'm like, there's no timeline on grief. You could be grieving for your rest of your life, and you can have good days, and some days, you might see something, you might smell something, you might feel something, and it reminds you of that person, that pet or whatever. And it's a never ending cycle, but it's like, how do you recover from it, and I do recover from it. I tell him good night every night. That's my way of dealing with it. And just seeing some me go get another pet right away, honestly, that's me dealing with it. I'm not trying to like cover up or replace him, but it's
Mhm,
like that love that I gave, like that, what I'm saying, to Haku, I'm going to give it to them, and some to like my new cats and things. So
mhm,
um hopefully one day, yes, a baby too, but right now I ain't there. I'll get there one day. But and it comes with humans too as well. It's like, what do you do to honor those people? I honor my grandmother as well. When I took that hit, the year I was getting married, she passed away. But what I do, I mean, if you see my garden, you know that she still is living through me. You get what I'm saying? I plant those flowers and things that she used to plant, that she taught me how to garden, like the vincas. And people like, why do you like vincas so much? My grandmother taught me how to garden. That was her favorite flower. So I honor her and put those all over my gardening and everything. I think it's okay to tell people that you're not okay. I don't have to sit up here and smile and say everything's okay. Sometimes I'm not okay. And I tell that to my bosses, even though if I don't like them. Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. And when I was transitioning with that, we was transitioning to I deal with a company who contracts with, like, they call them federally funded clinics, whatever, healthcare centers. So we was transitioning from one to that, and that was a hot mess. So dealing with that, on top of that layer of dealing with like watching my dog pass away and things, like that was like a really heavy week for me. And do I think that the person who I told, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, just so you know, and if you hit me up, this is why I'm responding the way I'm responding. I like to get ahead of things or whatever. So regardless, and she thanked me for it and everything. But at the end, I felt like when we finished transitioning, and she asked me how do I feel, I guess because we was closing out I wanted to say, lady, I feel like crap. Like, what do you think? I told you my dog is dying. What you think? I'm like, oh, I'm just excited. I'm just like, I'm I feel relieved, and just kind of just dealt what I had to deal with or whatever. So I just feel like, be open, be transparent, because it's okay to not be okay all the time,
mhm.
and just be transparent. A lot of people try to hold that, back, like everything's is peaches and sunshine. Every time it's not. I'm human. And I tell it to my clients, I'm human, so I'm not above you, and I can always learn from you. And we learn from each other. That's how I deal with grief.
And I'll add a little bit to that. And um I had a moment of what I didn't realize was insensitivity to her grief. And she definitely, listen, only people that know me for 20 plus years can read me, right? Um and it was one of those things where I too did not understand. And she had to literally be tough on me and let me know what she's going through, so that I can better be there for my friend. Because I don't know a time in the 20 plus years that I've known Sophia that we've not talked, right? And so in the time she was mad at me, it was probably one of the weirdest times in my life, because it's like my friend's mad at me. I don't know how to, and I too have not dealt with my grief. So not knowing how to consult or comfort others in theirs is difficult. Um And so, once again, Sophia, I genuinely apologize, and I love you. Nothing I say or do is ever from a malicious place. I didn't realize this. I publicly want to say I apologize.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you also during that time to be receptive, to learn and take accountability. A lot of times people try to, not hear you and get defensive. And I can appreciate you being open and listening and learning.
Thank you, Mama.
And and it's and unless until I had a dog, let me be clear. Until we got a dog. My kids, I am the mother of four human children. They're 30, 28, 26, and 24. When my 26, my two youngest are my daughters. Well, my 20, now 26 and 24-year-old were what, 13. They, from the time they were little, they were like, Mommy, can we get a dog? All my kids are 20 months apart. I ain't had no time for no daggone dog. But they convinced me. My girlfriend, baby, dog had a litter. The baby was cute. Thank God my husband was there because I almost brought home two dogs and I couldn't have done that. But Spot Bacon Jr. is his name. And he's 11 now. And I understand it. I didn't get it. I'm going to be honest
Mhm.
with you. I didn't get it. Right. But I get it. Like we've had conversations, like my daughters and I had conversations now that Spot's 11, like he's getting old. He's had to have like knee surgery and, and these sort of things. So we're like, what would we do?
Mhm.
Right. And because he's a part of our family, like we call him the fifth Funches child.
Mhm.
Right. And so I get it. And a lot of people, and I'm gonna be, and yes, I'm gonna make a blanket statement that I probably, and this, judge me if you will, right? A lot of us, Black folks, we don't want to, we talk about being tough and all these other things, and we don't talk about the relationships that we have to things like our dogs,
Mhm.
to our pets. Now, your generation, y'all are dope. That's why I always pour into y'all because y'all are dope. But like, I know people in my generation, I'm Gen X, right? A lot of my people are like, that's a dog. That's a dog. I'm like, but honey, if you are giving the same level of care to any sentient being that gives you love in return,
Mhm.
you had a mother-child relationship. You fed that baby. You made sure that baby had clothes if they wore clothes, right? You made sure that baby got what they needed, took them to the vet, to the doctor. Just like I would take my baby for their immunizations. You would take your dog to the vet. It's the same behaviors. So why do we not have the expectation that it would be the same kind of connection?
Mhm.
I mean, that's just me, right? And for me, because of where I was when I started my career, I willfully did not go into the clinical space because what I understood was how deep I dive with people, right? As a healer, right? So I chose to create programs because I started out in education. I was going to be a teacher. And I saw that like back then they didn't have like extended day and all that stuff. So I said, I can't do anything for these babies. And I'm a children's mental health person because in our world you have children's people and you have adult people, right? And in some places never the twain shall meet. Now the twain meet in my world because I believe in village and intergenerational healing. But I create programs. But at the same time, I had to work with my community because even though I tell people I'm not a therapist, I'm about to be a therapist, but I'm about to go get that L and go get that stuff because at this point in my career, now I can do this because I'm building what my community needs and I can take a step back and do
Mhm.
that thing. That's what I want to do. That's where I'm going to spend my next chapter. But in the midst of me building, in the midst of doing this, I've lost my mother, both my mothers, both my fathers, and my sister. There's nobody left. I'm the only one. I'm the cheese that stands alone, right? So I've had to deal with a lot of grief. And you're right, you don't get over it. You move through it.
Mhm.
There's a thing called post-traumatic growth, right? And where we move through. And there's no timetable on grief.
Mhm.
I lost my sister in 2022. It was me and her, although that was me and her. My sister died of a broken heart.
Mm.
And I buried my sister at 55 years old. Neither of my adopted parents nor my sister made it to 65.
Mm.
I am older right now than my sister was when I laid her to rest. That should not be a thing. That should not be a thing. We should live to be able to get old. My aspiration is to be that old big mama who comes to the family reunion on a motorcycle at 90 with a cigar. And my tires have the thing in it where when I do the thing where and it blows pink smoke. And then I'm so cool, I get to go on the cousin walk because they know I got the best stuff. That's who I want to be. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna front, right? That's who I want to be in my old age. Because what I understand is that the way I deal with grief is that I walk up, I lay into it. Like when I added my sister's picture to my ancestor altar, I was mad at my sister. I was mad at my sister for the first 18 months after she died.
Mhm.
Because we didn't speak for the last 3, 4 months of her life because I saw in a vision, I saw her death. And I had told her 4 months before she died that she needed to change, and she lied to me. And I said, you know, God speaks to me. You know, I'm one of them. You know it
Mhm.
because you're one too.
Mhm.
And she wouldn't own the things. And now looking back, because she always said, Melanie, don't therapize me. Don't therapize me. Don't be my therapist. Be my sister. So I made this conscious thing to not look at her with a clinical lens, to just look at her as a sister. But I believe that contributed to me not being able to give her the shaken baby she needed to help her get out of where she needed to be, where she was, because I committed to her to honor her and not therapize her, as she said. But the thing is that I still, like, my mama's been gone 20 years. There are days when I will sit up and bust out in tears and they say, what's my, I want my mommy. 20 years. There's no timetable, but we move through. And
Mhm.
as we move through, it's not that it gets easier. We get better at dealing with it. We get better at understanding it. We get more skills in relating to it. And that's me in grief.
Mm. Yeah, taking it head on is very admirable. Person like me
No,
still
it ain't.
it's
No, it ain't,
admirable.
baby. Some days I'm not. See, what I want you to hear is I'm not like this every day.
Got you,
Mhm.
got you.
Some days I am ratchet, toe out the damn frame. Okay. Some days I don't do well.
Mm,
So I just want you to understand, like you say, it's admirable. I don't have another way. If I
mm,
could figure out another way to do it, I would, because this sucks.
mm,
Doing it this way sucks, but it's the only way I know how.
mm.
So I want you to, I honor that you believe I honor what you're saying and I honor you, but I want to be real. Like, this is the only way because of what I've come through. This is the only way I know how to survive. So yeah.
So
I want to say, I wanted to touch one more thing about. Did you, or we got to move on?
no, 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 no. Go ahead, go ahead.
One more thing I wanted to mention too. People don't look at the perspective of. Granted, yes, I can miss, my grandmother, my grandfather, my dog all day, but you got to think about how people are suffering in their bodies when they're ready to go. I seen when I was transitioning, going from like high school um, to college or whatever, that when my grandfather, I went to go visit with my mom or whatever, he was in the hospital and he kind of, I was against the wall, but I was watching my mom just talk to my grandfather, and he like kind of said, hey Jackie, I'm tired. And she was like, well, what you mean, Dad? You laying down? What you mean you tired? He like grabbed her, like, I'm tired, Jackie. I'm tired. And that was like an opening for me, like, oh my God, I'm about to lose my grandfather. I understood what he meant when he said he was tired. And, you see that going on. I took that throughout life or whatever. When you see people and animals and things, move on and transition, yeah, we can miss them all day and cry and stuff, but you're not in that person's body or that being body to know how tired they are, whatever it is, like physically tired of fighting, mentally. I can't tell you, hey, I tell my clients, I have some clients that tell me, hey, I wake up some days and I don't want to be here. I never felt that way, but guess what? I don't know the pain that they're feeling to say you shouldn't feel that way. Why do you feel that way and things? So it's like I do give grief grace too as well, because at the end of the day, I know that wherever they're free from whatever that was putting them in pain, cancer,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you don't know what people go through. So I really give people grace, and I'd be like, I can empathize with that. I might not feel it, but I can totally see how that can be something constantly just tearing you down, a sickness, whatever.
Facts.
So that helps me also process and understand the grieving process, and also be like, you know what, they was in pain and I seen it, I could understand. They are free, but I just miss them, and that's why I'm crying. Instead of like, I wish you were suffering and you were still here. At least you're here. You're suffering on this earth.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Girl,
So,
facts. Something that someone told me was grief is love with nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
Grief is love with nowhere to go,
mm,
right? And before my mom passed, I'll never forget, my mom was in the hospital for like the last couple months of her life. And I would, and we set it up where she was never alone. Somebody was with her 24 hours a day because she was a Black woman in the medical system, right? And one day we were sitting up, and my mother had been sleeping. Like they said, she wasn't in a coma, she was just asleep. And she had been sleeping for about a week, right? And I'm sitting there, I'll never forget it. I was at her feet and she woke up and she said, "You are my obedient child." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "I need you to be able to let me go."
mm.
I said, "Oh, hell no. Nah, nah, nah," right? And just in that moment, she just said I was her obedient child, right? But I saw what was happening and I was rejecting it. I was like, nah, 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 nah. And literally, I heard myself. She said, "I chose you because I'm adopted. I chose you because you are my obedient child. I need you to let me go."
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, like it was like all this happens in the midst of maybe 3 minutes. I lied to y'all not. It seemed like forever, but it was only a couple minutes. I pulled myself and I said, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." And because my mom always used to say, "I never worry about you because I know at the end of the day, you're going to do the right thing."
Mm-hmm.
And I used to get mad because I felt like I didn't get the attention, I didn't get the things. But she said, "I never had to worry about you because I know at the end of the day, you're going to do the right thing." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." But yeah. But when the time came, I remember standing there watching them work on my mom. And everybody said, "Keep going, keep going." And I said, "No, stop."
Mm-hmm.
And the people and my cousins were yelling, "Keep going." I said, "No, stop." And finally I yelled, "I am daughter, I am proxy, and I say stop. We're going to let God be God." Because my mother was a minister. And my sister and the way my sister and my mom set up is that my sister and I had to agree. Right. But my sister would have left her on machine. My mama would have still been on machines 20 years later if it had been left to my sister's devices. My mama didn't want that. So it was like, you have got in that time, God will not give us our thing, give us our will over the will of somebody else. So in our grief, we've got to understand and we've got to give grace for that person to be able to get what my mom wanted. My mom said that she saw God and God would not let her stay. I will never forget this. She said literally, and I'm gonna say it the way she said it as much as I can. I was sitting at at the feet of God, feeling good. And he told me I couldn't stay because you N words wouldn't stop praying.
I didn't mean to laugh at that, but
He, mhm.
that's. I said I didn't mean to laugh at that, but I can see that.
No, but honey, I
I can
laugh
see
now,
that.
right?
You
And she said,
know.
"You N words," and my mama was angry. And she said, and then she said, "You've got to let me go. I'm ready." Right. And I knew she was ready. We had the discussion, right? But I had to get it was like God granted me the time for me to get ready so that I could do what she needed me to do. But the thing was that I had my sister and I both heard my mother say this. She couldn't hear it. I had to hear it. And we've got to honor those people. And I know we got to move on, but honor just as much as we miss and we hurt, do we if we love is caring about the long-term well-being of those we say we love.
Mm,
And do we want our loved ones living in pain and suffering and not being the people that we know them to be? No. So yeah. So
okay.
I mean, Sophia, you bomb. Just saying it.
Thank you.
See, I be putting great people together. I appreciate that. Thank you. You welcome, Sophia. Um, um, I started the conversation with like New Year's resolutions, right? This show, Mind, Body, and Soul, how we can do things better, and not the cliche. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna go to you, Sophia, because your life is multifaceted. Wife, pet mom, sister, brother, sore,
Mhm.
therapist, um, fitness instructor, fitness competitor. Um, what's one thing that you do throughout the year that helps you maintain and manage your wellness and your health?
You just can't give up on yourself. Yes, yes, I do bodybuilding as a hobby and stuff, but sometimes as a being a woman and I have my cravings and things like that, but it's like, yeah, I might fall off that horse, but it's about getting back on. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like just giving into things. You know what I mean? Like, oh
Exactly.
well, I had a bad week. May as well continue this bad week. Like, no, I had like a bad moment. You know what? Let me straighten this up or whatever. So I just it's okay to make mistakes. We're not perfect, but also that gentle reminder. Sometimes if you have some people who hold you accountable, which I have like my coach who I work with who holds me accountable. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I did mess up this week. Oof, I need to do better type of thing. But also me not just sitting in that guilt and just continuing the behavior. It's like, let me make a change. So it's just me just always getting back on that horse. I'm far from perfect. I had like 5 little chips, whatever, before we started this, but it's with within like reason. You get what I'm saying? So it's you gotta give yourself grace. But you
Mm,
gotta get back on. That's my whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like just make sure that you don't give up on yourself. And I don't give up on myself. If I got goals, I'm not gonna just give up. And I'll just give you another example. I'm starting my practice. I've been trying to apply for the LLC license thing. And I mean, granted, I've been frustrated for 2 weeks because I can do it on my own. But someone from my job was frustrated because we're frustrated with our job, and she was like, yeah, I went through my such and such agent, and they can do it for you. And I'm just like, well, damn, but I could do it myself and just like save $100, but don't want to pay 180. You know what I'm saying? So but then when I did it, it just came just like that. Get what I'm saying? So that's all I gotta say.
okay, okay. Mama Mel, you out here changing lives one baby at a time and adult at a time. You calling ancestors to help us make sure we are on the same page. Um, you got a lot going and the spirits speak to you. So you gotta at least have a routine that you do on a consistent basis to make sure that what you have been assigned to do divinely versus you being able to take time to recoup your energy and your time so that you can give from the overflow. What are some things, whether it be meditation, working out, um eating healthy, because once again you said I look good at 25, right? What are some of the things you do? Because Sophia, we know she hit the gym, she go on hikes, 45-mile hikes and stuff like that, and in that heat in Arizona. But from an elder that have seen things, right? um we sometimes forget that y'all as well need to take the time to take care of yourselves as well, because as much as your auntie and mom Sarah get momming on me and Sophia, You can't do that from an empty cup. So what are some of your habits that you do consistently to, one, make sure you manage your health and your mental at the same time?
So for me, the one big thing is that I want to say I'm not good at it because I come from a generation of women. The women who trained me were the first. Like, and I honor it. I acknowledge this. Like, better, smarter, faster. In the back of my med, and my back to this day, there's a tape. Better, smarter, faster. First in, last out. You got to come hard every time. Pull up your big girl pants. Put an H on your chest. Coming up, my that's the message I got from my mentor. That's why I'm trying to do this thing different, right? So I have just in the last few years, like in the last 4 or 5 years, gotten better at being able to not pour out of an empty cup. But it took 2 heart attacks. I'm keeping it a buck, right? Because I want you, I tell people, don't be like Melanie. I want you to have my product, but not, I want you to have all the things that I've learned, all the things I've gained without the trauma that it took me to get it, right? So some things I do is I have to take certain medications every day. I try to make sure my daughter put an app on my phone to make sure I remember to take my meds. Take my medications as prescribed, right? I try to make sure that I eat every day. Like I've had gastric bypass, so I don't feel hunger, right? Ever. Almost never do I actually feel hunger to let me know to eat. So I have to make very conscious decisions on not just when to eat, but to eat and what I eat. So I try to watch what I eat, right? I work hard at getting some kind of movement in because I work from home most of the time. I'm sitting for hours on end, right? So I'll try to get up and I'll try to walk around, and I'm not good at it all the time. I aspire to be like Sophia. I'm getting better. Like there's an old gospel song like I'm better. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm better than I used to be, and I'm getting better all the time, right? But three things that I seek to do is one, when I get up in the morning, I say thank you because there's been many days when I get up and don't want to be up. And I'm thankful that I got up another day because if I got up another day, it's another day to get another chance to get this thing right. Two, and this is not just like a practice every day. This is something I've learned to love the sound of my feet walking away from things that don't serve me.
Mhm.
I've gotten to a place where I do not stay at tables where love is not being served. It took me 50 years to get here, but that's where I am today, right? And it serves my mental health, it serves my spiritual health, my physical health. I work really hard at trying to get some movement in. I've lost 180 pounds in the last 3 years, and I'm trying really hard to maintain my physical health. But the biggest things I do on a daily basis is I remain grateful that I get another chance at another day to try to get this thing right. I decide to choose me, to bet on me, and I say these things to myself out loud so I can hold myself accountable. Today, I'm going to choose me. What does choosing me look like today? Today, choosing me looks like I'm taking my meds. I'm drinking my water. I'll go to exercise, if I can get out and I go to exercise. Some days choosing me means I can't do this today and I'm gonna try again tomorrow.
Hmm.
I just, if nothing else, I'm gonna be real. Like I do exercise, I do work out, and some days I'm better at it than others. Like I told you, Paige, I'm doing 21 credit hours right now on top of everything else. I'm taking a course to be certified as a doula. I've got a lot going on in my life. And so I try my very level best, but I wake up every morning and I'm thankful to get another shot at this.
I wanted to add one more thing.
Go ahead. Go
No
ahead.
one, no one to delegate. Like granted, it's yes, it's hard when you know that you could do it great, but I had to learn to know when to like delegate things and allow my husband to help me, and
Yes.
that's been a
There's
journey.
no
Like I'm such a
shame.
like I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm just like, you know what? Let him do it or whatever. And don't complain about how he do it or whatever. And when you do it right, be like, all right, I like how you actually did a good job this time type of thing. So, and that's also alleviate me doing, a lot of stress off of my plate, just knowing that I can't do everything. And I got to prioritize what's really, really important to me. Granted, he might not scrub the tub the best way I might need him to scrub it, but he cleaned it and he did the best he could do. So let me pick on what I really care about type of thing. So no one to delegate. That's why I meant to end off. Sometimes I began brain farts and I be forgetting, but that's why I wanted to end off. That's why I end up paying for them to do my LLC for me, because yeah, I could do it, could save money, but there's no one to delegate and take that stress off of you. And guess what? They got
Come
it
on now.
done. They got it done less than a day. Where with if I did it, how long I'm still waiting for that PLLC? You get what I'm saying? So sometimes God be
Mhm.
giving us signs and stuff. We be so damn hard headed. And when God gave me a sign from like my coworker and told me, "Hey, you should pay for it," and it went like pushed through, whatever. I was like, God, you so
Mhm.
funny. Because you're right, I would have spent that money on something on Amazon, something stupid. But you're right, I'm investing in myself. So
But you
you got,
invested that money in you.
so me
You
putting
know,
into me. And
Sophia, you so dope. Paige, you have done me a solid today. But Paige, I want you to, I want to, I just, because I want to hear you say it out loud for the folks who are listening. Is there more than one way to do a thing rather than your way to
Mhm.
get
No,
it done
there
and get it
isn't.
done well?
There isn't. There isn't.
No, there
Um,
is.
I
I mean,
mean,
for Paige, like Paige said,
there
let her
is
husband
there is
clean your
more than
tub.
one way. Yeah, there is more than one way. I thought you was like, is there one way? I misheard it. But
No,
yeah,
no,
there's
no.
so many
What I'm
different
saying
there's so many
is
different
that
ways to do a
Paige said
thing.
something powerful.
Mm-hmm.
What Paige said was so powerful. For me, my husband and I have been married for 31 years, right? And I spent a lot of time where I wouldn't delegate because I wanted it done my way. But my
Mhm.
way is not the only right way. It's just my way. And
Yep.
when you said he may not scrub the tub the way you scrub it, he may not put the comment in there and let it marinate,
Mhm.
like that sort of thing, but it's clean,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
right? He may not fold the towels the same way I fold them, but they're folded,
Yep.
and once we're able to get there, how much freer can we be?
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
it took me to get knocked down to realize that I need to lean into my husband more. And I appreciate that lesson. You get what I'm saying? Where a lot of people is like, you so
Hmm.
you operating on like the whole, I don't say not single woman energy type of thing, but even if you're not
The
single
black,
or
the
whatever,
black superwoman energy.
yep, it's like I can do it because I was so used to carrying so much for my family and things. It's like if I can do it here too. I'm just like, Sophia, he's here to help you. Let the man help you.
And
Oh,
just
that's all.
because you can
This
do it
sounds
doesn't
like a
mean you
whole nother
should do it.
episode. We about to listen.
No,
We
it's
about to bring
facts.
the
We need
brothers
to have
into
another
this
episode
conversation.
about that
We
because just
about to
because you
bring the
can doesn't mean you should.
we about to
Yeah.
bring the
And
brothers
you're
into this
blocking your husband's
conversation.
blessing. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this last thing and I'm done. Don't block your husband's blessing that he gets from being able to serve his incredible woman.
Yep, yep. We about to make this a whole part two conversation. And we're gonna bring Denzel in. We're gonna bring Jackie in. We're gonna bring the Mister in, so we can have these conversations.
Glenn,
But you guys touched on a lot, and one of the things that I really want to kind of, as we drive this home, when things get hectic and you're thrown a curveball, how do you guys find yourself back to doing the things that help you maintain your health, maintain your wellness?
For me,
for
I
me,
have. Oh, go ahead, girl.
for me, I said this to you yesterday. I try to control for all the things that I can control for so that I have a space and capacity for the things that will happen that I'm not able to control for. Right. And at the end of the day, I have to come back to who am I, whose am I, and what am I called to do?
Mhm.
Mm,
And it gets me right every time. Who am I? I'm Melanie Funches. Whose am I? I'm called, anointed, and appointed to help my people get healed so we can get free. I'm a healer and I'm appointed to do this job. Anything else that's outside of that is noise.
mm.
Period.
What was the question again? So people can no, so people can
um,
be reminded of it.
no,
Yeah.
no, no problem. When life gets hectic, how do you bring yourself back to doing the things that keep you, like doing those things that you mentioned earlier to keep you consistently in a healthy and wellness in a well space?
So for me, sometimes to me, I have to sit and pause. If I'm feeling overwhelmed and things are chaotic, I have to sit and pause. And like Mel said as well, you have to like see, okay, what can I control right now? And if things do fall apart, sometimes I would get upset and I'd be like, you know what? Maybe it's supposed to fall apart like this, just for me to see something. I just accept things, right? I mean, I used to not be that way because I like to be in control of things, but sometimes I accept it as is, and then I'd be like, you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. When I had, and that's that whole anxiety thing. It's like that fear of like, oh my God, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and I'm on chapter 17 of like something that never happened. So it's like I sit and pause, I ground myself or whatever, but like, what's happening now? What can I control? And let's just go with it. And
Mm.
honestly, it's not as bad. I'm still living. I'd be like, well, you know what? Been on this earth for 39 years. I mean, I'm doing something right. It ain't the end. You know what I'm saying? It's not the end.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Like,
do.
did you like in a classic Gen X statement? But did you die?
Right.
But did you die? No. And the thing is, what we have to remember is, will anybody die? Will anybody be get irrevocable harm if I don't make this meeting, or if I miss this deadline, or if I do this thing? But I just want to affirm you, girl, going through the FQHC process,
Mhm. Well,
girl. That's a slow walk through the seventh ring of hell. So yes, so I give you kudos for going through it and what you're going through.
well, I don't want to. Let me not say that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to
Um
give you props for
thank
for
you,
standing and being still standing on the other side. That's all I want to say.
girl. Yeah.
so at this point I want to kind of wrap us up a little bit. Listen, I could let this conversation go on, but I asked of you guys an hour and you guys gave me more than that so far. Um I like to ask. I've asked these questions of my men when I have the men's conversation. Um, what would the little girl that you came up to become this great, amazing woman today say about who you've become?
I feel like my little self would say, I always knew you could do it. Even when people would like say, it's like I always knew. I mean, my relationship is with my mother's better. You know what I'm saying? We've come a long way. But even through like all of that, I mean, who don't have trauma? You know what I'm saying? Um, I knew you could do it and I know you could do more. And I feel like my soul is so happy because I am continuing to grow and being that person that she envisioned. You know what I'm saying? So I think my little self will be so proud of me. Um, I'm proud of me, right now. And I know I'm going to do more than just, I'm always saying I'm done, but I'm never done. And she knows that. And I know
Awesome, awesome.
Little Melanie would say, "Girl, I told you so.
that.
I knew it. Like, hey, I told you so." And Sophia, thank you for going into private practice. We need every one of you to
Yeah.
do this to help us to heal. So I just want to thank you for taking that step.
Thank you. We got people who try to push, hold you down, but I'm like, no, it's always a way. It's always a way. You're
Mm,
not.
Look, there's always a way, and we need you.
Thank
We
yes,
you.
need you. So
yes.
thank you.
I'm gonna close out with this last question. What advice would you give our audience on managing expectations for achieving goals set for the year?
Time is not the calendar. Time isn't real. Like it's real in some ways, but our like my mom always used to say, a day is 1,000 years is a day in the eyesight of God. Time, our time, we've got to take time to redefine time. Things will happen in their appointed time.
Mhm.
And that's not time set by anybody else. That's not even time set by us sometimes. Just let things rock because they will happen when they're meant to happen. What is for you, and it will happen at the time it's supposed to happen. So sit back, keep your hands inside the ride, and listen to the conductor.
Mm,
She said it perfectly. I mean, not that I'm trying to pick, but it's all about timing. Like I can say, hey, I want this done. My idea was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have my practice up and running in March. In reality, that's not the reality because I have to, and I'm just trying to, I like to tell stories. That's how I get my point across. So people understand and connect the dots. You have to, get clear through insurances. You have to get certain things put out there. So it's like, I'm just being realistic and I let go of that timeline of me having it up and running in March. It's going to happen for sure this year, but it's all in like God's timing. Like I had this plan, but that plan is going to happen. I'm just scrapping that plan. It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. A lot of times too, you have to learn to go with the flow. But it's also that lesson I learned too, this to lean on my husband. Go with the flow. Stop trying to control everything. Control what you can. I can control what I can, what I can eat for breakfast, breathing, getting up, you know what I'm saying, doing my routine and
But you
things,
cannot
but
control the panel process.
you can't. So
Didn't
learn to let
panel? Mm-mm.
people can't handle like letting go and just going with the flow. It's hard,
Mm.
but like it makes life so much easier and things just fall in place. He like, why didn't I do this beforehand? Like I wanted to control this and stuff. Go with the flow, breathe. It's gonna be all right.
Awesome, awesome. Before we go, where can they find you, Mama Mel?
I am on Facebook under my government name, Melanie Funches. You can find me on Instagram. Afriqueen Me, AFRIQUEENME, Afriqueen Me. And yeah, you can find me there. And I'm old, so I don't do a whole lot of stuff, but when I'm there, and Paige is going to teach me how to move into the 21st century and be able to do more. So but and if you reach out to me on either of those platforms and you want to talk, you need something, just let me know.
And then you mentioned it earlier, and I don't want to assume everybody understands. Can you explain what a healing circle is, for those that were wondering and didn't want to break it into the earlier conversation?
So healing circles are the circles where people come together to process different things and get tools for things like, so we do something, there's a model that we use called the emotional emancipation circles, which are developed by the Association of Black Psychologists and the Community Healing Network. And these circles are designed for helping us heal from racialized trauma by defying the lie of white superiority and black inferiority and finding out and really digging into all that is good and right about us,
Mm.
right? And the whole purpose of the circle is it's a stage process, and you go through and we come out with an escape plan, right? Say, how do we keep ourselves mentally emancipated from the lie of less than, the lie of inferiority, the lies that have been being fed to us for 400 years, right?
Mm.
And
Mhm.
so we do this and we bring all of ourselves into the circle, and we support each other and we help each other process through.
Awesome, awesome. And any special projects you got coming up?
um we're doing here locally an emotional emancipation healing weekend coming up in concert with Juneteenth, because Juneteenth we celebrate our physical emancipation, and we're going to open up that week with our emotional emancipation. So I think the dates are the like 12th, 13th, and 14th. I think it is. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday coming up into Juneteenth week. Whatever that
Nice.
weekend is, we're going to be having an emotional emancipation healing weekend where we take what is normally a several week process and we condense it into a weekend retreat where people can go through to begin the journey of emotional emancipation, so we can start to free our minds and free our spirits as we celebrate the freeing of our physical selves.
Amazing, amazing. Sophia?
Um, well, I mean, I'm not, I don't have my practice up and running right now, but you can find me on my personal IG, which is so crazy with two Z's. It's been my name forever. So since like the 90s, since AOL. So
Hmm.
and then my other one is for my supplement, you can reach out on there as well. Body by Soka B. Soka like the Soka music, Soka. So underscore supplements. You can reach out there or if you're in the Arizona area, you can hit me up on my email or find me on psychologytoday.com because I'll be getting that profile running up and running with my name, Sophia Campbell Burrell. My practice name is Campbell Burrell Therapy and Consulting, PLLC.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, um, that's it. That's it. Well, listen, I do not want to get chastised when I get off of here. I do need to announce, um, get my cheese back on my cracker. We are finally getting our retreat in place thanks to my amazing wife. The retreat will be April 17th through the 20th. It's going to be at the Postcard Cabins. I can't even pronounce the area in Georgia, but it's in Georgia. So come down to Georgia. Check out our Facebook page. Check out our website, cheeseonmycracker.com. We'll have all the information there. I'll have the information in the description of this event. Um, we have Cooking for Calm coming up in the third quarter. Where we're going to be cooking with an amazing Filipino chef. She's going to teach us how to cook some Filipino food, but healthy at the same time. And then October is going to be right around the corner from that. We are going to be doing Walktober again. And for those of you that we had 75 people in the Walktober challenge, step challenge, we accumulated up to 15 million steps across the month of October. And this year, my brother-in-law said he may not compete just to let some of y'all, get y'all numbers up. But the idea here is similar to what we talked about today, right? Let's eat healthy, cooking for calm. Let's get our body moving, Walktober, and let's do the things that are gonna enrich our bodies, enrich our minds, and enrich our souls. So, with that being said, I love you all. Thank you both for joining. And until next time, stay safe, everybody. Peace.
See ya.